Dear Tripp, last spring I wrote a letter to your granddaddy thanking him for all that he's meant to me and thanking him for all that he's taught me. This spring, son, it's your turn. A few days ago we made a very short, last-minute trip to Kansas in hopes of giving it one more try. Our trip was cut short, though, because of all the terrible storms that rolled through the Midwest, and while I could see the disappointment in your face, you handled the news like a champ when I told you that we had to head home early. In your heart, you didn't want to admit defeat, and neither did I. Your goal this spring was the same as mine. You wanted to shoot your first gobbler, and boy, did we ever give it our best shot. You sure are growing up fast. I've seen you learn so much this spring, and it gives me so much joy to watch you falling in love with something that is so incredibly special to me. As we picked up our hunting stuff that last morning in Kansas to begin hiking back to the truck, I told Kelsey that I believe Tripp's taught me more about being a dad this spring than I have taught him about turkey hunting. And while that remark was sort of lighthearted and off the cuff in the moment, I thought about it all afternoon as we drove home. Goodness gracious, is it ever true? You have taught me so many valuable lessons this spring, and I need to tell you how grateful I am. Tripp, you've taught me to be patient. I once thought that being patient meant being able to sit still and wait for a long time on a stubborn gobbler. But the truth is that being a patient turkey hunter and being a patient dad are two totally different things. You taught me that being a patient dad meant learning to enjoy what made you happy instead of pushing for what I thought should happen. You found joy and wonder in the smallest moments that, quite honestly, in the busyness of being me, I've grown to completely miss. Things like stopping at the gas station to buy some candy, or skipping school, stomping through mud puddles or crawling through a deep ditch, or just simply getting to spend the day walking through the woods with me and Granddaddy. Those are the little things that make up the beautiful journey of spring and that make it unforgettable. And they're the things that I so easily miss. And I'll give you another example. On the second morning of the youth season, when those two big longbeards came in and stood next to our decoy and you couldn't get a shot, in my heart, I was devastated. I knew that opportunities like that with the camera over your shoulder just don't come around every day. But you, on the other hand, you were elated. To the point that I had never seen that kind of excitement in your eyes. And to be honest, when I turned and looked at you after they walked off, it took my breath away. You were so excited that a turkey had simply gotten that close to you, and that you had seen him, and that you had heard them, and that alone was enough for you. And then when you told me how it made you feel when you could hear them walking through the leaves, but you couldn't quite see them yet, and how your heart was beating so hard that you thought it was going to explode, and I could see the immense joy in your eyes because you had just taken a man-sized drink of the glory that is turkey season. And I realized in the quietness of the disappointment in my own heart just how foolish I was and just how much I lacked patience. You've taught me that real patience meant learning to enjoy every step in the process at whatever pace was good for you. I felt myself pushing for results, just trying to get you a gobbler killed, but you were just having fun. You forced me to slow down and smell the roses along the way. Tripp, you've also taught me to think more about the future than the present. I believe that this was the first spring in nearly 21 years that I haven't killed a turkey here at home in the state of Tennessee. And to be honest, I'm not even a little bit upset about that. You taught me that thinking about and preparing for the future were a lot more fun than simply living in the moment. You see, There were a few times this spring that I could have shot a gobbler here at the house, but I didn't because you weren't there, and I knew that you'd be able to go the next day. And with the river flooded out, we really didn't have all that many opportunities for a bird here at home, and I knew that if I killed one, it would just make it that much harder to help you get one. And you know what I learned in the process? I learned that just being able to tell you that I had a gobbler scouted out and that I knew where he lived and what he was doing and where he was roosted, the excitement and the anticipation that generated in you was 1,000,000 times more fun than any turkey I've ever killed myself. Buddy, I wouldn't trade the mornings that we spent tromping through the woods this spring for anything in the world. Granddaddy has always quoted the verse from Proverbs that says, "A thing accomplished is sweet to the soul." And while I'm a little disappointed that this is the end of our second unsuccessful spring trying to get your first gobbler killed, I keep reminding myself that the difficulty of this task will only serve to make its completion that much sweeter in the end. And then I also have to remind myself that there will probably come a day when killing a gobbling turkey begins to seem pretty easy to you. And then I have to smile because I know that you will remember just how difficult number one was. And I hope it will inevitably give you a deeper appreciation for just how sweet conquering spring's king truly is. In the letter that I wrote your granddaddy last spring, I told him the days seem to drag by slowly, but that the years fly by so quickly. And that truly is the case. I remember exactly where I was when your mama told me that she was pregnant with you. And I remember the feeling in my heart when the doctor told me that you were going to be a boy. It seems like yesterday that your mama and me and Maddie and Katie were sitting in the hospital welcoming you into this world. And now you're going on road trips with me and slogging up and down hills chasing critters, and you are teaching me some of the most incredible lessons about being a dad I could have ever imagined. I also told your granddaddy last spring that there wasn't anybody on this planet that I looked forward to sharing a tree with more each spring than him. But I was wrong about that too, son. I'd have to say that I've added you to that list as well. I sure am proud of you. I love you, little buddy.